find insight, guidance, and answers. Tune into Spirit with radio medium Laura Lee.
Are you seeking a way to confront something that's really been harboring in your heart about the past and prohibiting you from moving forward in life? I would like for you to stay tuned into your 5-Minute Spirit Reboot with my special guest, Mr. Diederik Walsek, the founder and director of Heal Again Healing Centers, and also the author of Choose Again, 6 Steps to Freedom. Welcome, Diederik.
Thank you, Laura Lee. Wonderful to be here.
I'm glad we can connect. So, Diederik, what's the main objective of your healing centers?
The main objective of the Healing Center is for people to realize that whatever they have in their life is chosen by core beliefs that they made up about themselves when they were very young. So in the first 8 years of my life, or the first 8 years plus perhaps since conception, I make up ideas, and those ideas in those first 8 years become actually what I call my personality or my character.
That's brilliant. You had a heck of a childhood in a concentration camp, and I'm sure it plays a big role into the work that you do now. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, it played a huge role. So I spent the first 3.5 years of my life in camps, and the next 50 years I was full of self-hatred, rage, depression, chronic anger, you name it. And I could never understand where that came from, but I was completely resigned to the idea that that was who I was. And then I got to a point when I was 50 when I said either there has to be a better way or I'm just going to make an end to this. And then I found some material to work with and I said, I'm going to give that a year. And if in the year I don't heal or I don't have a dramatic shift in my experience on the planet, then I can still do what I planned to do, which was to drive off a cliff. And really soon I realized that the idea that I'm not who I think I am was incredibly freeing. And the second part to that idea was that no matter what I think I've done, or no matter what I think has been done to me, it had no effect on who I was in truth. And so then it became clear that my job was going to be to remove all the core beliefs I held about myself in order to connect more and more to that unchangeable truth that's within all of us. You can call it the Buddha mind, you can call it the Christ mind, you can call it the pure self, you can call it whatever you want, but that self is within every single one of us. However, is buried by the core beliefs.
What are those 6 steps that you recommend people travel through in order to open themselves up?
Well, the first step is to acknowledge that I'm upset, and that in itself is not easy. The second step is more difficult than any of the others, and that is to say, this is about me. So for me to realize that I wasn't a mess and I wasn't hateful and depressed and all the other nonsense because of outside circumstances, but because of a choice I had made, was breathtakingly exciting. And then we move to step 3, and step 3 is, what am I feeling right now? And for me, that was incredibly difficult because I felt numb or rage. That was the spectrum of my feelings. So to feel what I'm feeling in any upset is incredibly important because that feeling is chosen by the belief. The fourth step then is give yourself permission to have that feeling take you back to a memory. Something happened. Somebody said something, somebody did something, and I interpreted that experience as saying something about me. And once I have that belief, I'm going to go get the evidence. Say, I'm desperately in love with you, but I have a belief that I'm not lovable. I will then sabotage that relationship because we cannot afford to be happy because it goes against my core belief. And the correction for that is step 5. Forgive me, not for something I've done, not for something you've done, not for something anybody else has done, but simply for the belief. Then the last step is a confirmation of who I've always been. And that is forgive me for forgetting that whatever I made up in the past is not true.
Thank you for sharing. It sounds very similar to like 12-step programs, helping everybody get in touch with the truth within them. Could you give us your biggest takeaway when it's dealing with something so heavy from the past?
My biggest takeaway was when I started doing the work that I suddenly realized that whatever had happened did not change who I was at the core. In other words, that I was not a victim.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today. Where would anyone find your book, Choose Again, 6 Steps to Freedom, Diederik Walsek?
Thank you very much. The book is on Amazon. Our website is choose-again.com.
Thank you. And if you enjoyed this segment on the Radio Medium Laura Lee Show and want more, please subscribe to the podcast and rate it and share it. And we appreciate you.